Let me start with this. Finally, somebody said it. There's something about basketball that's always cracked me up. Why can't basketball just love what they have? The documentary, we love looking behind, and we're always trying to find the new shiny toy. Why can't we just appreciate LeBron? Why can't we just say, yeah, best player in the world last 15 years, put our arms around him, and let's go watch LeBron play? Finally, LeBron's got in his career 3 MVPs. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. Media that covers the NBA, that's embarrassing. Oh, my bad, 4. He should have 11. I mean, literally, he left the Eastern Conference, and the Eastern Conference was man overboard. They're doing reseeding right now in the NBA. They're considering reseeding the playoffs to eliminate East versus West. They're not doing that because of Giannis. They're not doing that because of Westbrook. They're not doing that. They're doing that not because of Kawhi. They're doing it because of LeBron James. Finally, somebody yesterday came out because everybody thinks Giannis is going to win the MVP. Nice kid, great kid like him. It's not LeBron James. It's not 6'11". He's 250, and Kawhi Leonard tossed him all over the floor last year in the Eastern Conference playoffs. Finally, Damian Lillard said, just consider everything. MVP is LeBron. Of course he's the MVP. For the last 6 or 7 years, the NBA media has tried to convince me his run is over. First, it was KD. KD's not built like LeBron. KD gets hurt a lot. KD emotionally couldn't handle Draymond Green. KD's not LeBron. He's just a great player. He's a great scorer. He's probably a great kid. It's not LeBron James physically. He's not LeBron James mentally. I mean, LeBron's handled the Kobe death deftly. He's handled his ownership mess in Cleveland. He handled the pressure of being the NBA's villain. Occasionally, some people, I don't know why, don't like what he says. They don't like what he said about China. They don't like what he said about, moving to Miami. Those are just words. His actions have been impeccable. And he grew up with all sorts of chaos. He hasn't had a misstep, a physical misstep. Ooh, he said something about China. Really? We're holding that against him. Like he has to have some geopolitical acumen. Our politicians can't get it right. We have to babysit our president half the time. And then we don't like what he said about how he was taking his talents to Miami. That's funny. Cleveland burned his jersey and then begged, please come back. You didn't really care about his words. You're insecure. You're Cleveland. The minute you could have him back, you did. But you told me KD was going to be LeBron. Oh, then it's Kawhi. Kawhi doesn't play every third game. Kawhi's great, but he's not LeBron James. He's not verbal. He's not carrying the league. He's on the second best team in Los Angeles. And then there's Giannis. Giannis is him. Oh, okay. Giannis is 60 minutes to the piece. Giannis's playoff record is 17-17. That's in the East, 500. LeBron's never lost a first-round playoff series. Giannis has only won 2 playoff series. Does everybody understand? People do not get credit for the disasters they avoid. I've said this about presidents for years and years. A really good president, regardless, in my lifetime, avoids disasters. So you never get credit because you don't. It's like, don't start a fire and then call yourself a hero for saving people. The great presidents don't start the fires, so they don't have to pull people out of buildings. The reality is LeBron has made bad ownership in Cleveland, dysfunction in Los Angeles, unbelievable pressure in Miami. He's just made it all work. He just makes it work all the time, everywhere. And Giannis doesn't control every game he's in. LeBron does. I mean, if you watch a Laker game, your eyes go to LeBron. I mean, he's got the ball in his hands, the passing, the distributing, the shooting, low, threes, the clock. He's coaching. Giannis doesn't do that. KD doesn't do that. There's lots of games the Warriors were in that KD either didn't play, played occasionally, or didn't dominate. There were games that Clay took over and Steph took over. Kawhi, I think he's terrific. But he's left. The Raptors are still number 1 in the league in defense. without Kawhi. They're still very good without Kawhi. Every team LeBron leaves disintegrates. He left the Eastern Conference. It disintegrated. Like, stop. Give LeBron credit for the stuff he avoids. If LeBron's in the room, if LeBron's on the team, it's going to be okay. He's like the really successful dad, and he's got all these children under him, and some are talented and some are dysfunctional. But the successful dad comes in and he just kind of cleans all the messes up. He just makes it work. He makes Miami work. LeBron and D. Wade, frankly, have similar games. They didn't even really work together. And then Bosh had to change his game for LeBron. I mean, Chris Bosh was averaging 25 and 10, goes to Miami, and they had kind of moved him outside and made him a shooter. LeBron made it work. 4 finals, 2 titles. And he and D. Wade, their game, D. Wade's not really, I mean, LeBron's best driving, passing, three-point shooters. That didn't really work. 4 finals, 2 titles. He made it work. Cleveland, he goes back. Kyrie didn't get along with anybody. They rolled through coaches. The GMs they rolled through. The owner wasn't perfect. Oh, they make it work. They win. Nobody wins in Cleveland. LeBron works in Cleveland. They go to Los Angeles for a franchise that was dysfunctional for years. I mean, it was a mess. They couldn't land free agents. They all have all these young kids. LeBron goes in there, and after about a year, boom, 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 Anthony Davis shows up. They're number 1 in the West. Just, you got to give people credit. Too often in society, we crown people heroes for saving messes they created. LeBron just makes everything, lubricates everything, makes it work. They got the second oldest roster with the Lakers. Nobody thinks they have the world's best management. I mean, think about since he's been there. You had Magic as a president, and then Magic left, and Magic held an impromptu press conference without telling people, and now an agent runs the franchise, and the unspeakably tragic death of Kobe Bryant. They've had multiple trades, and the Lonzo Ball situation, and Anthony Davis gets hurt. And Kyle Kuzma this year is not happy, and the Lakers are the number 1 seed and the best road record, and of course he's the MVP. It's not even close. And NBA media, just put your arms around him. Why don't you give him 3 straight MVPs to make up for the 11 you've missed on? He's been the most essential, most impressive, most important basketball player in this league for 10 plus years. He's got 4 MVPs? If you would have put somebody that just didn't have the emotional stability of LeBron into Cleveland initially, and then into Miami, and then into the Lakers, does everybody understand, as great as the Lakers brand was, before LeBron got there for about 5 years, it was a mess. It was a mess at ownership, executive level, roster, scouting. It was a mess. Now, most talked about team in the league. For the record, I don't think he'll win MVP. I don't. It's not the way the NBA media works. He's easily the MVP. But Giannis, 17-17, great kid, great player, 17-17 playoff record in the East, will win it. And it's nothing against Giannis. Just put your arms around the guy that's carried the league for a decade. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.